Today I'm going to paint this Calvin and Hobbes painting, but also show you how you can scale up any painting or image to paint at any size. This technique is commonly used by scenic artists who need to paint backdrops that are sometimes 40 to 80 feet wide and just as tall. It can be used to scale up any sized image as long as that image has enough detail to work from. For this example, I'm using this piece of art done by Bill Waterstein.
Bill Waterstein.
The artist and cartoonist of Calvin and Hobbes. And I've purposefully printed this out at half the scale that it will need to be on my final canvas. This allows me to demonstrate the technique of transferring a smaller image to a larger canvas by drawing a scale grid. Like I said before, I usually do this at a much larger scale, but since we're all working from home right now, I thought I'd show how you can do it with really any image. And this doesn't just apply to scenic artistry or painting on a canvas. Theoretically, you could transfer the same grid that I'm drawing here to a wall in your home or the side of your house and paint any image as a mural. The image I printed out is 6 inches by 4.5 inches, and I'm drawing on a 1/2 inch grid. This will translate as a 1 inch grid on my canvas because my canvas is 12 inches by 9 inches. But you could draw these as 1/4 inch squares or even 1/8 inch squares if you wanted that much more detail, as long as you were transferring that to your larger piece or your canvas at the right scale. For example, here is an image of a castle that I wanted painted for a show. I'm showing it here at 3/4 inches equals 1 foot scale, and also showing the 1 foot by 1 foot grid that the scenic artist could use to lay out the castle. And here's what it looked like when it was finished. Now I'm finally drawing on my 1 inch grid on my canvas, and then I can start transferring the lines of the image to my canvas. And here you can see how the squares correspond to each other. And then I could start sketching in the lines of my painting. I've never been the greatest drawer, and this method really helps me be more confident when I'm drawing and just gives me reference points as I'm going along to kind of stay on track, especially with some of these more complex curves and things that are in this drawing. But this is a great way to study artists or paintings that you like, to try to recreate them, draw them and paint them. It's really kind of fun to try to get in the mind of the artist here. I know I really enjoyed painting this little dinosaur scene that I've seen a lot when I was a kid. Reading Calvin and Hobbes comics, I've seen this art style a whole lot, but being able to kind of duplicate it here was really fun. As I started painting, I realized I made a really big mistake here.
Oh my God, Dwight, what are you doing? What?
Because I'd never worked at kind of a small scale. At a much larger scale, you can really paint over all your pencil lines or your chalk lines, and they'll go away after your layers and layers of paint. But on this, I would definitely recommend that you erase all your grid lines before you start painting in your scene here. This was really frustrating. I kept putting more and more paint on, and it just wasn't making any of those grid lines go away. So if I were to do this again, I will make sure to erase all of those grid lines that I put in and just leave behind the lines of the painting.
You would be the smartest idiot in the whole world.
I really didn't want to have to start over, so I continued as I normally would and just kind of let it work itself out. It got to a point where I needed all of this base layer colors to dry so that I could move on to the details and stuff like that. I let it dry for about 45 minutes and then came back and did more detail work, which I'll show coming up here. But I really don't need to talk about the rest of this. It will be different based on what you're painting. If you're painting the same thing, you can watch along, but I might as well just kind of let this process play out. And you can see how it turned out. Okay, so here you can see I'm starting to paint in the black lines of this cartoon comic looking thing, and this is really where this painting started to pop for me. Getting those dark detail lines in there and really hiding a lot of mistakes with these dark lines. And just like that, this project is done. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and be sure to subscribe if you want to see more.